long, long, long into its protection.
So Elle, how did you become a science communication fellow on
030
Nautilus?
now, Dan.
030, right?
Yeah.
So actually, my cousin was on an expedition a couple years ago, and I noticed her posting a lot about it on social media, and then I started following the Nautilus Live, and when I saw an opening for a science communications fellow, I decided to apply. And right now my job is more into farming, but
Nope.
this is a way for me to explore the deep sea
Take a
and
look at
connect
this.
it to food security and fisheries that are more known for in Palau, the near shore.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity for me to
Very nice.
explore and learn.
Well, it looks like we've got a couple different black corals here. The Bathypathes on the left, which we collected one very similar of, and then two other black corals here that I'm still working on more accurate ID.
Yeah, this unbranched one is
different.
interesting.
Yep.
I don't recognize it.
And it's got a couple associates in there.
So black corals don't really need to be black to be called black corals?
So the skeleton is black. So they have a
okay.
proteinaceous skeleton that's black, which is where their names come from. They come in white, brown, this kind of reddish color, yellow, and a yellowish kind of different colors. Can we take a tight zoom on the long, stocky one?
Sure. Go ahead, Amber.
Are these three different types?
Yep. These are three different types. Harold's diving into the ID guides to try and figure out what these two are. We've got a whole host of different types of associates.
Is that a little crab?
I would say it's maybe a Stichopathes whip, but it's so bushy and
Yeah,
straight.
it's
I don't
way
think
bushier
so.
than I would usually call a Stichopathes.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably have a
don't
little
know
more
why I love
zoom
that
if you
name.
need that.
Yeah.
Always makes me smile.
That's the
Masako?
straight coral's name is Stichopathes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sako, do you have any ideas on shore? All right, well, we've probably got enough imagery to dig into it later once we get some black coral experts on the line. So let's keep going.
Did you get the still camera to work while we're here?
Oh, yeah, you want to take a still cap?
Definitely got some bandwidth issues there. I was hoping Mike would have some magic fix, but okay.
All right.
Blasting off.
All right, onwards and upwards.
Where are they? Okay, now you can put in the move, Chris.
Right on.
Thank you.
Reach nav 20 meters 030. 20030.
I have hopefully some good rocks coming up there.
Do you guys know what types of rocks these are?
So it can be a little bit hard to tell because everything we're seeing here is actually manganese polymetallic crusts growing on top of the rocks. So somewhere around here, at a certain depth, we're going to see the underlying rock transition from basalt and igneous rock.
Sorry to interrupt you there. Is that an egg case? Right there?
Looks like it very well might be.
Is it?
Yeah. Can
Oh my
we
gosh.
can we get a zoom on this right here?
Sure.
And then at a shallower depth on these, a lot of times it transitions the underlying rock to carbonate, old coral reef that's grown on top when this was shallower and then sunk deeper. But it is really hard to tell with all the manganese crust on top of it.
What is it, millimeters per million of years or something?
For the
Crazy
manganese
like
crust,
that.
yeah, it's a couple mils per 1,000 years generally.
Okay,
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, this looks like it might be a skate egg case.
Skate?
It looks empty. Yeah, it looks like it's attached to dead coral branch. If we could collect this, I think that would be fantastic.
we can. I think it's fragile. Or is it leathery?
Harold, do you know if it's going to be crackly or is it going to be leathery and hold together?
Yeah, probably leathery, would you say, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be pretty leathery, but if you can pick it up by the little coral bit on the end, that coral kind of looks dead, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
So
coral's
maybe we can
definitely
just
dead.
take the whole thing. That way we won't risk breaking it.
Roger. We do have a scoop in
Yeah,
the box.
this is pretty cool, especially because on our baited camera deployments, we did see a type of deep water skate, probably a Bathyrraja, but getting an egg case to match up would be pretty cool.
For our viewers that don't know what a skate is, can you explain what a skate is?
Sorry. Yeah, so a skate is very similar to a stingray, except they're a bit more pointy in the nose and they look a bit more like a kite. There's other differences, I'm sure.
They don't have a stinger.
They don't have a stinger. They're not a stingray. That's a key difference.
Okay.
And there are some rays in the deep sea as well, but skates are going to be a bit more common. I'm pretty excited about this because one thing I'm looking into for my PhD is what types of fish and what types of sharks and skates and rays use deep sea coral habitat as nurseries. And this right here is a clear example of a skate having laid its egg on a coral branch at some point in the past. So documenting these types of occurrences helps us figure out the functions of these deep sea corals for the rest of the animals living around them.
That's pretty big too.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's good
It's,
size.
It's almost the size of the manipulator.
It's not attached to the coral,
Okay.
but let me try and just touch the coral here.
Yeah, if we can pick it up gentle. Oh, yeah, it's
So,
pretty brittle.
Yeah.
Suction might also work, but
That's so big, I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
You don't
I
think so?
That's
Selection.
going to go in the tube.
okay, proceed.
I was hoping the coral would kind of be a hook, or it looks like it's hooked over the coral.
Okay, now for the rest of the cruise, my eyes will be glued to the screen looking for eggs. Now we know they're here.
I'm just gonna try and get a nub on the coral here and see what happens before we try and grab the, if I can get
So
in
what's the
there.
process by using an empty eggshell to identify what species it is?
That's a great question. So there's different species, eggs will look different. And some of the characteristics you can look at are the tendrils on the end. So those sort of horn-like structures that you see sort of attached to this dead coral branch. Those can be diagnostic, as well as the overall size, the ridge structure, the thickness of the egg. But there's many species of sharks, skates, and rays where the egg case morphology has not been described, where there's only one specimen or a few specimens where it's an adult that is not bearing eggs. So we don't really know what the egg cases look like. Okay, and they're
That was the
That coral is not coming.
The other thing you can do
that was the minimum
probably
amount
is
of
get DNA from this egg, and then if you've got the
Cripples there.
DNA, you might find a match with a certain species of skate.
We do have that scoop in the, not sure how floaty it is. Or I could just try and grab one of the very edge of it there.
Yeah. The scoop could work if you can get it out without the black coral floating, but
Yeah.
you could try and grab it here and see if that works.
Do you have a preference on where I try and pick it up? I was maybe hoping to hook it there with
I don't expect it to be brittle necessarily, so you should be able to grab it.
Very nice, Dan.
Well, I don't know if that's gonna stay on there. Nope.
So that thing is so big. What if we use the slurp on a very low suction setting and just try and suck it up to the tip, and then you hold it sucked up to the tip and move it to a bio box?
Yeah, we have done that, and that would be the front bio box.
Yep.
I just don't know how friable it is there, and whether the slurp would. Doesn't seem to be that friable.
Yeah, you might. It's probably not. It's probably leathery. You can probably just grab it.
All right, I'll give it a shot here.
Yes.
Can I put this in with your coral?
Sure. I suspect we'll tell those apart.
You won't get some cross contamination there.
So for our viewers, we are collecting this sample. It's an empty egg case of possibly a skate.
You can go wide now, Amber. I'm gonna rack the camera back here.
So we got some help from our shoreside colleagues about those black corals we were looking at. Best guess is a pranopathes, a trissopathes, and for the two we were having trouble identifying.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, Jaden, I'm gonna get it real close to the box, but just over kind of the top of the box, and then I'll have you bump it open so our other victim doesn't escape there.
Well, great.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, now that we're looking at it a bit closer, I wonder if it is hatched. Or that edge there is sort of frayed. I don't know, it's hard to tell.
You can zoom in there if you want. We'll have a
Sure, yeah.
You want me to go in more?
Yeah, I don't see any obvious places where the embryo has broken out of the egg. Yeah, this may be an unhatched egg.
Yeah.
Great.
That'd be cool. Well, let's get in the bio box and
Yep.
get some service.
Yeah, let's secure
go
this
wide
thing.
again. Tempting to rotate it, but with the current, I'm afraid it will break off.
Well,
Yep.
we can rotate it all to our heart's desire.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
don't
bio
risk
box.
it.
Okay, I think I'm above the box there. You want to go for just the bump out? Yeah, just open it a little. So, yeah, that's probably good. Maybe a little more. That's good. I don't think this guy's going to float, right?
No, I would expect this to be negatively buoyant.
Okay. Close it.
Cool. So that was sample 4, yay?
Yes, sample 4
Sample 4, egg case in the port bio box.
with
Port
the
forward.
floaty black coral.
Dan, you are the man. That was spectacular.
It takes 10 of those for one that I utterly
Yeah.
just destroy or miss.
Well, nicely done.
Thank you. Couldn't do it without our fantastic craft manipulator. Oldest working craft on the planet, and we have a brand new one on the way. Very excited about that. Okay, where were we before the...
Zero, 3, 5.
035, right. $14-hour dive, and we moved like 14 meters. There's so much to see.
Lots of cool corals here, but I think we should say goodbye to them and continue on.
Roger. More ripples.
We take a quick look on the coral to the left. That's one we haven't seen yet, I think.
Candle looking one?
Yep.
Candelabra looking one?
We haven't seen a lot of primnoids yet. There's one big one at the beginning of the dive.
Push in a bit there if you want, Amber. That's good, thanks.
This is a
Is that a star on it?
Yep, that's a brittle star, an astroschema brittle star. And this is a type of primnoid.
We're in a good spot to polyp zoom if you want.
Yep, if you want to give us full zoom on it.
Yeah, go ahead, Amber. I can't remember, Jaden. Can you press the HD extend button? I can't remember if I racked back out or not.
And before we leave, you could just pan down just a touch and get like the kind of the central nexus.
Roger. Tilt down a little for me. HD down.
Just want to get where all the different branches separate to see what the branching pattern is.
Good still if you have not taken one yet.
Yep.
I just grabbed one. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, tilt down a little more for him.
Perfect. All right, science is happy.
You gotta love it when they're sticking out on a perfect place where the ROV can park. I think we're good for 20 now, Chris. We'll take
Right
the
on.
plunge.
Bridge now.
Sure,
20 meters, 025.
We're good. We are going up a bit. It's the other thing to watch that I have, see the range rings on the left sonar, which is Atalanta. The right one's Herc. So the left are 20-meter range rings. So we try not to get any, when it gets red like that, that means pretty steep. So if you see red or orange coming inside the 20-meter range ring, and Chris or I haven't noticed, let us know. We're swinging Atalanta into the cliff. I think it's a bit spicy when get really close. You could probably come up a bit too if you want. And if you want to, you can tilt your camera up some. And bring your head to the right a little. We'll kind of go over and see if that's what it looks like. We like cliffs. I'm gonna come to the east just a little bit more. You can bring your head just east of north. Yeah, that's better. So we have all the steep stuff in front of it. So you're looking at the hill. No. That's better to have it in front of us as opposed to on the side of us.
I'd like to take a close zoom on this white coral.
The big one here?
Yep, the big one here.
Right.
There was one or something similar at the first rock when we first landed, but I don't think we got a really good look at it.
Come down one of it.
This
here.
is also another primnoid like the one we just took a close zoom at, but it's a different genus.
Okay.
primnoids have a lot of silica in their tissue. And the technical name for all the little silica pieces is eluding me at the moment, but it's really amazing. When you look at these things or try and grind one up to get DNA out of it or whatever, it's really hard because there's so little tissue compared to silica in them. And when they retract their polyps, you can see they look armored, almost.
My guess for a genus is Calyptrophora.
That would have been mine as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was going to say you can zoom in if you want, Amber.
But as soon as I say that, someone's going to tell me it's Paracalyptrophora.
You know, I forgot about Paracalyptrophora.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, see how all the polyps along the main branches are retracted and down, which can be diagnostic. And in primnoids is which way the polyps face once they're retracted. It's got a little damage that on that bottom left branch, the tissue's missing. You can see some skeleton there as well. All right, I think that's probably good for us. Thank you.
Got a nice shot of Herc from Atalanta.
Glory shot of Herc there before she comes up. He'll have to come up, obviously, if you're not already.
Another good sized bamboo whip just kind of coming into view here.
The current's favorable for us to get really close like this now, because it's blowing the tether out away from us a lot of times.
See a purple
there's
coral
purple.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could get a zoom on that.
Victigorgia,
Let me sneak in there and get a little closer.
which is the first one we've seen this dive, I believe. These are another one of those corals that almost always has a brittle star associate. Also got a little cup coral in the corner there. Well, let's get a good look at the Victigorgia since it's the first we've seen.
Okay, Amber, push in there.
How does it get so bright, the color, the purple? And like, is there a certain thing that it does with, or importance of the color?
You know, that's something, importance of color in the deep sea is a really interesting question, because there's no light down here, right?
Yeah.
Or there's no light from the sun. There is bioluminescence and things like that, but and a lot of red is the equivalent of like black in terms of being a really good camouflage color, but I don't know if we have a really good theory about what the purples come from.
And that's a sea star on it?
That is a brittle star. Yep,
Brittle
that's
star.
a brittle star hanging out on the Victorgorgia. Almost always you'll see a Victorgorgia with one of these Astroschema brittle stars on it. All right, I'm happy.
Roger.
It's pretty amazing when you do collect one of these and put it in ethanol. The ethanol turns purple, a purple-black almost immediately, and the coral turns white and loses a lot of a lot of the pigment comes out of the tissue and into the alcohol. So they look very different in preserved specimens than they do when you see them alive and happy in the deep sea.
Asako in the chat confirming that the purple color is indeed from the tissue, not the skeleton, but not sure anyone knows exactly why it's such a beautiful iridescent purple. It's unclear whether or not it's sort of incidental as a result of other aspects of the physiology of the tissue, and it really doesn't matter what color it ends up being because it's in the deep sea, or if it's some other reason. Interesting. It's a sizable pneumatic carcinus shrimp. It's probably the biggest one I've seen so far. And the seafloor just littered with dead sponges and corals.
That's
Very interesting.
telltale sign of a hint to come of what's above.
You know, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
true.
at the frequency in which we see these dense, aggregations of skeletal remains and then don't find
Anything
a source
up
colony
above.
above. I mean, sometimes it is. Certainly, like you start seeing all the rubble and then poof, you find this just epic community but I'm continuously surprised the frequency in which you don't find that, and it's like something changed in the environment or something that we had a die-off of a lot of things and that didn't get replaced. It's one of those mysteries of the deep sea to me.
Again, from Asako in the chat, some of the corals we do see, their brilliant colors do actually come from their skeletons, and one example of that is the Paragorgia that we collected earlier, the bright pink coral. That color is actually the skeleton and not the tissue.
Cup corals.
So many explanations for color in these corals.
Couple cup corals. And then, can we take a quick zoom on the white coral?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is one of those strange
I want to,
chrysogorgids or not.
I'm going to park here for a minute and let you zoom. Oh, go ahead, Amber. It's driving me crazy that I'm on a cliff and my Tritech sonar is absolutely useless.
No, bamboo. I see nodes.
Hang on, look at it for just a minute.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is an internodal branching bamboo.
I'm gonna. Where's that? Where did we say that button was? Oh wait, F11. That's it.
One of the other things you can use to thinking about bamboos is a lot of times they have the big fleshy polyps. Like, it's not a defining characteristic, but I see big polyps like this. I am generally immediately beginning to think bamboo.
Is it the Norbit on, Chris?
It is. I just turned it off.
But. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come up a little. What is going on with this thing? You wanna? Can you pull up engineer on your
Yeah.
and play with that Tritech and get it to give me an image? So
That looks like not good at all.
yeah, it's no worky. It took on dooping. Okay, you can go wide.
Well, the range is set to 2 meters.
Well, I was just playing with the range again, but I think it's a frequency or a filter thing. There's some funky setting in there. That's. Are you wide there, Amber?
I am.
Thank you. I'm probably 3 or 4 meters. It should be a giant wall in front of you on the sonar. There's some more settings over there on the right too. I forgot. Yeah, you can come up a bit more.
Got a rock pen over here on the right.
Yeah.
I believe these sea pens just recently got a name for their genus, the Lithoptilum. Litho meaning rock, of course.
Yeah,
There's the Latin again.
These are a bit of an unusual one. Almost all of the other sea pens live in sediment, and this group has developed a kind of suction cup type foot that allows it to attach to rock. So I got a brief glance of one earlier in today's dive, a little bit deeper. But this is the first time we've gotten a good look at one.
Please zoom in.
I don't know, Dan. There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to mess with.
Kill that program and open up the Tritech program.
On here?
Yeah, you kill that, and then back behind that window is CNET Pro.
All right, we're done. Science is happy.
Right there. Okay, you can go wide.
There you go. Let's see. Doesn't look much better.
Okay, you can bring the other one back. I don't know what's.
What was the other one called?
It's Genesis. Normally I'd be freaking out about that, Jaden, if the boat was moving, but since we're static right now, it's a beautiful image of Herc you're getting, so you can kind of chase me up the cliff. And the current is favorable, keeping the tether off both, mostly off Atalanta. If it wasn't, it would be, you know, the floats would be smacking you.
A couple more little bottle brush Chrysogorgias in here. A couple
Yeah,
more cup corals.
Come up just a bit more, Delta there.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep coming up. Just keep me in that picture there while I come up the wall here.
So really,
Maybe we need to point the orbit forward.
Yeah.
Really getting some steep terrain here as we're moving up, which is what the multi-beam predicted.
So we're going up the seamount right now.
Yeah, we're going, you can see the red there on both the sonars. So it's basically vertical in front of us at the moment. Not solid vertical, but yeah, we're coming straight up as opposed to going forward.
We have a new viewer asking what are some of the things we have found since we started this dive.
Well, we've seen a whole host of different types of corals, multiple families. We've seen a bunch of bamboos, a bunch of chrysogorgids, a fair number of anthropotherians or black corals, one or two primnoids. We've seen some shrimps, a couple fish. So we've seen a pretty robust community of deep sea corals and sponges as well. Ferrotiniids, Atalancias, sponges. We've seen them. Yeah, this has been a really pretty good dive in terms of biodiversity. And here comes a sea spider, it looks like. This is new for today's dive. This is a pycnogonid or sea spider. It's not a true spider. It's it's not an arachnid or anything, but these are predators of generally slightly gelatinous or soft-bodied organisms, and it literally walks around on the seafloor until it finds a coral or an anemone or something like that, and it just stabs it with a proboscis and then starts drinking it.
Wow, that's cool.
Let's get a freakish Halloween-y zoom.
Yeah,
right.
In the nature of Halloween, we should definitely take a look at this.
Give me nightmares.
And
very cool.
Like Brian said, while it's not a true spider, it is, I believe, in the Chelicerata, which means that it's closer to a spider than a crab. And it looks like it's got some sort of parasites hanging off of its legs as well. Very, very freaky. And this is one of the few things down here that actually eats the corals in addition to certain sea stars. But they're all a natural part of this deep sea environment. They're not devastating the ecosystem or anything like that.
Devastating my sweet sleepy dreams, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is a good Halloween moment.
Sounds like a challenge for someone on the ROV team to 3D print one and put it in Dan's bunk.
No. I'd have to do the spider dance. You probably hear me yelling all the way up in the galley.
All right, science is happy when video is happy.
Okay, you happy, Amber?
I'm happy.
Okay, you can go wait. We're out of here. That's a big spider.
Yeah, that's good. At least 20 centimeters, probably closer to 30 across.
Oh, back away.
Oh,
we startled a squat lobster.
Yeah,
a squat lobster?
Yep, so
the coral here above us.
There's a good-sized Chrysogorgia above us, and our presence spooked its residents, Chrysostylid.
The beautiful thing about having a 180-degree camera on the front of the vehicle.
This is a new Chrysogorgia for this dive. This is a big one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can see off in the distance there, this near vertical wall is teeming with corals, taking advantage of sinking particles and detritus being blown by the current. We often see dense gardens of corals on steep features like this.
If you're coming up while I'm trying to get close and stable, it makes it hard because the dynamics of the tether.
You okay for a reset, Dan?
Yep.
Do you want to swing around, Dan, and try and put this thing in the black background and get a real beauty shot on it?
Sure. It's so big I can't, like I'm sideways to the cliff and I still can't perch her clear. Oh, maybe I can. You want it in the stills camera as well?
We can try it. I was thinking main HD, but we can.
Yeah, maybe we can do both.
But if you're not gonna, if we can't line it up, we can do it with that one because it does line up nicely. So it's all yours, Harold.
I'm grabbing a few.
Can we play with the color balance on this thing?
Can try.
Dial down the brightness a bit.
Yeah.
It's moving around a lot.
I'm knocking stuff off the cliff there.
Also, if this isn't the spot, we'll find another spot to do some real beauty shot work. I think they're going to get dusted out here in a second.
Yeah, I got too close, so I
Okay.
was starting to knock stuff off. I had to trust away.
All right, let's keep going up then.
Roger. Thought I could swing around with the breeze there and find a perch, but
You've seen how Sebastian has the retractable toes?
I have not.
It's pretty cool. You should check that out. It's a nice design. They've got hydraulically actuated rams on the right on the front two tips of the vehicle, and they can just stick a toe out about half a meter and
yeah.
prop up. It's a really handy feature.
I use
For those at home, Sebastian is not a person with retractable toes. It's another ROV run by the Schmidt Ocean Institute, just to clarify.
we usually use the porch for that kind of business. But
All right, I think we got our first, can we come up a meter? I think we got
Yep,
a coral
I
I want
see
to
it.
look at. A couple. Actually, before we get up there, I want to take a good look at one of these yellows, probably this one,
Roger.
and then we'll go get the big corallium here in a second. So these little yellow corals are virtually impossible to tell apart from imagery alone. A lot of times you have to collect them, and there's a whole bunch of different types of them that look very, very similar. Really complex community right here. This is cool.
Okay, you want a close-up of the...
Yes, please.
Come back around to the downwind side and come under the big one above us.
Asako in the chat says yellow could be a paramericid or a plexaurid.
Yeah, I'm thinking it looks like there's two over here. The one to the left, I think, might be a paramericid,
Tilt
but
up
I'm
on
wondering
the
if this
HD
one
camera
right
a little for me.
that's currently in view might be an acanthogorgid.
Yeah, a bit more.
Really interesting how we have these almost boulders jutting out
Go ahead.
vertically off this wall.
Zoom there, Amber.
Super complex terrain,
I could
just covered in
get any
coral.
closer or not. applying zoom here.
Yeah, got
Wow.
a sparse branching chrysogorgid, and then this yellow coral. Gut tells me it's an acanthogorgid, but I'm sure someone will tell me I'm wrong. It's got several different types of crabs on it. We've got 2 different squat lobsters, another type of brittle star. All right, I think that's the best we're going to get for right now. So let's go take a look at the big pink thing a little bit shallower.
Right.
Asako agrees, acanthogorgid.
Yeah, I was
Or
nervous
as a
about
possibility.
getting closer
Yep.
there with that big pink one above us.
Totally understood. And
Wow.
now for the big cinematic reveal.
Wow.
We cheat because we have cameras all over the vehicle, and a lot of our fish eyes are standard def, but we have a much better
Oh, we have
situational
a
awareness
huge basket star on there.
of what's coming up.
Yeah.
So this is
2 basket stars,
this is
a
some
sea
type
lily,
of
multiple sea lilies.
Okay, you can tilt back down just a bit for me.
Wow.
so this is a corallid
Very cool.
with two basket stars on it. Basket stars are some of my favorite deep sea
Actually,
creatures.
I changed my mind. Tilt up a bit. Trying to get the still camera and the HD camera on the same. They can take stills and we can get video.
I want to say Gorgonocephalidae, something like that,
For the basket star?
for the basket star genus
sounds
or
right.
family. Yeah,
Something like that.
it's a basket star.
And we got a Comatulate crinoid on here too. A whole host. This is a really good example of why we think about corals being, quote, ecosystem engineers, and that the coral is growing up and growing out into the current, and it's creating new habitat for all these other organisms to live on. And so they're really dependent on the coral to basically make the apartment building, and then have for all the other organisms to live on them.
Good still pics if you're taking them. I click away there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's super beautiful.
And the base, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the base. Maybe we had an even bigger colony, and this is what's left of it?
Any chance we can get a corner of this thing, Dan, or is that going to be too
Yeah.
hard?
No, we can. Just happen to be perched at the moment.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, if we want to.
Is the base usually a different color from the...
Yes, these are often shift from pink further out and turn into a white base. There's also white versions of this coral that you'll see the whole thing will be white, or not this particular coral, but in this family also has white versions.
And we see it has that white base instead of a more brown base, which is what is telling us maybe it's a corallid and not a paragorgia.
This is definitely a corallid.
Yeah.
And so when we go to collect this is going to be super brittle.
Right.
Very sinky and super brittle.
Do you want to snip and slurp or stick it in the box?
Ideally a box,
Right.
but it may just shatter to the point we end up having to slurp whatever we shatter.
How big a piece you want, right?
10, 15 centimeters.
Roger.
Doesn't have to be too big.
Can you push in a bit there with the... Yeah, thank you.
You want more than that?
Yeah, you can zoom in some more. So I can... That's probably good there.
Got at least 2 different types of feather star here as well.
Oh, it's brittle.
It's very brittle.
So for our viewers, for this dive, our dive objectives, the primary purpose of this ROV dive is to survey and sample the diversity and the distribution of deep sea benthic communities, as well as particularly within these corals and sponge habitats that we're looking at right now. Another objective is to sample and survey geological features, and this will help us better understand the environment and what species are living down here. And currently we are about 1,400 meters down.
Not a very big piece.
You want to slurp that and do a snip and slurp?
See where the nozzle is there. Go wide for me, please, Amber. Okay, that's good. Jaden, if you change back over to the jar. And we'll go past the fish to number 2. Actually, before you rotate, we'll hit, turn the suction on. Yeah, we'll just clean the hose and anything within the hose. Probably not, but it's kind of standard practice to flush it out a bit. Just hold it for 10 seconds or so. I'm going to turn this up here to get a little more jam on it. You can see the stuff dancing around in there. Okay, it looks pretty clean, so you can then turn it off and rotate to jar 2. Other way. No. No, they blow right by and we'll get a shot of them. That's perfect there. I don't know if I can get down onto the nozzle there. You zoom in for me there. We'll get a bit tighter shot there. Can push in just a bit there, Amber. Oh yeah, bright helps too, thank you. That's good. Okay, Jaden, you can turn that machine of yours on there if you will. the tube it goes.
I'd like some more than just that too, please.
Roger. Okay, you can kill the suction for now. See little corals falling down there in the... The camera's fast now because I got the pressure turned up. See if I can go for that bit in the back, maybe.
And this is so brittle, you don't necessarily need the cutters. It'll just break in whatever part of the arm you got it in.
Yeah, it grabs nicely on those.
The Tygon, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Can't really work out how much room is back there. I can fish in there for a sandbit. And behind it. Didn't look like I'd have room there at first, but I think I do. Say when.
A little bit more. That should be good.
Okay, you can go wide, thanks. Jaden, you want to move the camera back down to the suction nozzle there? Watch out for that rock.
Is that going to be too big for the...
No, I think it's so friable it'll break apart and go in there. Okay, Amber, yeah, you'll have to tilt down maybe a little more. Okay, you want to turn the suction on again? Saw a piece of it go in. Another piece.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
I could probably vacuum up the piece out there if you want, or you got
No,
enough?
I think we've probably got enough for the sample, and there's a chance it'll continue to live there for a while.
Okay, you can turn the suction off. If you go to jar 3 and then back to jar 2, that piece will fall down, and we'll see what we got. Make sure it made it all the way through the hose. And there's a piece stuck up in there still. And turn the suction on for, go back to 2 and give it a blast, and then.
All right, what sample number is that?
That is sample number 5.
All right, sample number 5 and jar 2, pink corallid.
Yeah, there's. Okay, you can go back to the flush jar. Quickly past the fish. Still in there. Trying to escape though.
Chris, what's our range to waypoint 2?
17 meters.
Oh, sweet. Yes,
Yeah.
we're actually going to make it.
Oh wait, so no, sorry. It automatically selected the waypoint when I dropped the new one. 50 meters. 50
okay.
meters, yeah.
Still going to
Yeah, we're right there.
make it. All right, let's make it to waypoint 2.
Roger. Look at the sponge on the way out.
Sure.
Just curious, how much time would you spend on one waypoint when we have 5 on this dive?
Oh, we spent entirely too much time.
Oh, okay.
The odds of us making it to the summit at our current planned recovery are just about 0. The waypoints are at a set distance, so there isn't a straight answer to that one. But we were going to try and make it to 800 or 900 meters, I think, is the top of this feature, and we've come up a total of like 100, not even 150 meters since we hit bottom.
There's just so much to see.
Yeah, it's true. This
And
is
the first time here. It's pretty cool.
this is always the challenge: is stopping and looking and characterizing in depth, and covering no depth range, or doing a less thorough job and covering more depth. Big bamboo whips, a couple more primnoids.
I like how this one's almost arcing all the way over this ridge to the other side. It's very cool.
Are they usually pretty long?
Yeah, they can get
the bamboo
very
whips,
long.
yeah, they can get very long, 3-4 meters.
It's a pretty large one there. You can come up to a bit if you want.
So one of the things, interesting thing about deep sea coral ecology is trying to figure out where corals live is really a fundamental question. You see how they're kind of patchy. Like, look at the left side of the screen here. We have a whole bunch of corals all hanging on this rock. On the right side of the screen, a relatively comparable rock has almost none. We're getting pretty good at knowing where corals might be and getting to know where corals
I'm going to do a DVL
likely
reset.
aren't going to be, but getting a good sense of exactly where corals are going to be is still a stretch for our understanding of there are things at play that we don't understand yet about how these creatures end up living in these patches, like this high density community we're looking at here with multiple different families of cold water coral all sitting right here. But we can also go long sections on of what looks like comparably good habitat and not see any.
What's the shiny bit there at the top?
In the background or at the very top?
Right at the top.
There? Looks like an urchin. Let's go take a look, though. I had missed that. Thank you.
Sorry, what is it?
It is probably an urchin,
Urchin.
but we will see here in a second.
Can you tilt down a bit for me, Jaden? Thank you. Can you tilt down a bit more? And just back up so you don't see the porch.
We got a big stalk of a dead coral here. This is loaded with brittle stars, and another one of these probable Cliptrophora primnoids on the left. A couple black corals there as well. More of these beautiful Iridogorgia. And I think a large urchin hiding here in the shadows. Yep, that's what this is. This is an urchin. It's a type of echinoderm.
Wow, that's so cool. I love urchins.
And the basket star right above it is
It's pretty
enormous.
Yep.
And it's got all of its tendrils retracted almost.
Is that that whole orange part? That's the basket star?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Is there more than one?
What's your delta there?
Looks like it's just one really
okay.
big one drooping off.
Is it on the dead stalk of coral?
Yep.
Can
Yep,
we get 20
it's
to
hanging
the
out in the
north?
dead coral.
Or 20?
Yes.
20
They're
along
filter
the
feeders,
path?
so they try and get as high up as they can into the current and then extend all their arms and just reach for the food.
For HNAV 20025.
We've probably got enough of a look at the urchin to get an ID later, but this fuzzy coral right there is where I'd like to go next.
Raj, get
It looks like it might be a dead sponge base from one of those polyopagons, maybe.
That may be right. Ferrotonema.
you can actually come down a couple meters, Jaden. Come down 5. We're tight on the tether, so that'll give me a little more leash until we get the boat closer. Fight it a bit. That thing there you want to see, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think Harold's right. I think it's a dead sponge. Another brittle star feeding. Yeah, that's some type of sponge base. Looks like it's almost been ripped off. And we've got a Walteria sponge and then Caliphacus, not a Caliphacus. Yeah, it starts with an S, but that's, no. All right, I think we're good with this spot.
Roger. Sweep back around the other side. We're far away from the other ship here.
That's what I was going for.
Sacca-calyx.
Yep.
Yeah. It did start with an S.
This is a really cool spot. All kinds of life here.
Interesting geology too. It almost looks pillowy on the top, like a crust.
And there's our first Anthomastus.
Or is it pseudo-antimastus?
Oh, I don't even try. Asako, however, does know the difference, and will tell us here in a second, I'm sure.
Can zoom in on the dog toy there. Yep.
Yes, please. Zoom in on the dog toy.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say pseudo-antimastus. Couple of these ophiocanthid brittle stars as well here, which is I don't know we've seen many of them yet with the spiny arms on them. Can we get a tighter view of the white coral just to the right of the lasers?
Yeah, if you zoom out, let me put a toe out there. I'm backing away when you zoom in.
Are we thinking that's Analopsamia, maybe?
That's where my brain's going, yeah, which would be the first of the dive.
Another scleractinian coral.
Yeah, it'll be our first colonial scleractinian of the dive.
Which one were you interested in, Brian? Sorry, I lost the plot.
This one right here.
Right.
What was the ID on that one?
Analopsamia.
Go ahead, Amber. Zoom in there. The camera's all wonky angle.
Yep. Yep, that's our first colonial scleractinia of the day. All right, thank you.
Why is that thing on 10?
You know, looking at the corals, why are they all like elongated? You notice that the...
Can you pan the camera to the left?
Yeah, so it depends on, depends on the taxa. So some are bushy, some are longer.
Yeah,
they all have kind of different feeding strategies. But that's one of the things that makes the ecology of something like this such an interesting spot to me, to see so many different kind of growth morphologies all growing in similar conditions, that we don't think we really understand how the specialization and niche partitioning works in this type of environment. It's definitely very much an open question. One of the things that drives me nuts about this type of environment is seeing these corals that are filter feeders hanging out under overhangs, right? So these animals are completely dependent on food coming down from the surface and suspended particles for their food. And so why filter feeders choose to grow under overhangs that would block their access to food raining down drives me nuts.
Must be going sideways, Brian.
Well, right. So it's going sideways, or it's, again, has something to do with the turbulent mixing, slowing down the food particles and making it easier to catch it in the lee or the eddy coming down is kind of my working hypothesis right now. But it still seems very strange to me to see these filter feeding communities that are, under overhangs. And so it's got to be something to do with the local hydrodynamics that makes the overhang more advantageous for food capture. And in shallow water coral reefs, we would assume that this is probably a sediment avoidance strategy. If there was a lot of sedimentation, you would move under an overhang or something like that, so you wouldn't have sediment landing on you that then you have to get off or can't get off. But in a place like this with extremely low sedimentation rates, that doesn't really make sense. We've got another Victorgorgia here.
Turn down just one click for me.
Another basket star. Lots and lots of cool organisms. Our second Victorgorgia of the day, it looks like. Oh, apparently we did have They did find an Elapsamia deeper. I must have missed it.
That'll be interesting to look at relative to whatever the calcium carbonate compensation depth is here.
What does that mean?
So that is the calcium carbonate compensation depth is a little complicated, but it's basically the depth below which calcium carbonate secreting animals cannot make their skeletons or shells. So that would be scleractinian corals, things like clams, mollusks. The chemistry of the water basically doesn't favor the formation of calcium carbonate below a certain depth, and that depth depends on a number of things.
I think we got a pretty good shot look at this particular rock. Why don't we move on?
Roger. Just getting that shot down the spiral there. Moving on.
Some really interesting geology too. You can see sort of these like folds and tubes almost from the original lava that formed this feature here.
What's the something octal there? A different one than the one that you saw before, is it?
You looking at the Anthomastus or something else?
Yeah. There you go. Blowing dust off the wall there. Sure. We're gonna move on here, so in theory we're gonna move on.
Yeah, we're good to keep going.
Roger.
Could stare at all this forever, but we gotta
I'm moving
mosey
on, believe it or not. I'm moving north, but I'm looking south. I'm gonna. Okay, Chris, you can. I'm good for 20 now. You can,
Bridge nav, 20 meters, 030. So I just...
You want to look to your right some for me? Can actually look right quite a bit. Put Herc on the left side of the screen. I'm using your sonar to see what's out there because I can't see with Herc. That's good there. Maybe back a bit, just a bit to the left. Wherever the little yellow ball stops, it will eventually get there. I'm pulling on you a little at the moment. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to come up. I'll come to the east here. You can come up a bit more. Watch out for that rock, Herc. We'll have to plan that out one of these days. Get it on video wherever, because they're broadcasting us all here in the front row now, right?
That's a pretty coral. Do we know the name of that? What is it called?
Yeah, so that's a type of glass sponge.
Oh,
And these are really cool because they sort of have a similar branching structure to a coral. And it's an example of convergent evolution. They're doing the same thing. They're filter feeding. So they've independently converged on this body type of this branching structure. And we've seen a few corals like this, but they are really, really interesting.
Thank you. Oh, that's pretty.
Am I that close? Oh yeah, I'm that close to it. another Victor Gortube hidden back there. Purple guy. Purple thing.
All right, so we got a question from a viewer. What is the deepest we are planning to go with the robots?
4,000 meters. Hercules rated depth.
4,000 meters. Estimated
So,
depth.
yeah, this dive, we've already gone the deepest, which was about 1,600 meters. And hopefully at the end of this dive, we'll be at the top of an underwater mountain at about 1,000 meters. And then we have, probably in several days from now, we plan a dive that will go all the way to 4,000. That'll be the deepest we will do. And that will be on the slope that dives down into the Palau Trench to the east of the islands.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You ready for another move, Dan?
Yep.
Bridge nav 20030. Ooh.
We can hot dog it a little bit here and make some tracks, but it would be nice to have the ship not moving for handover.
If what? When what?
It would be nice to have the ship in Atlanta static for handover.
Okay.
With this
I mean,
mix.
this move maybe will bring us about there.
Yeah. It makes it easier for
Yeah, for sure.
less bad things happen.
We haven't been penduluming all that much.
No.
This is another pretty large bamboo coral, similar to the ones we saw earlier. We've got quite a few squat lobsters in this one. And a feather star.
Yeah, this coral is loaded. Has a lot of little animals living in its branches. Can you count all of the lobsters?
I've counted 8 lobsters. I'm probably missing a few.
That's got to be one of the biggest corals we've seen on this dive so far. That's great. Thanks, Dan. We are going to try to make up for a little bit of time here. Let's see if we can pick up the pace up slope a little bit.
Roger. We'd also, we want to have the ship stop for watch change.
Got it.
So, and a pendulum swing in, so maybe one more move.
All right. Bridge nav, one more move.
We don't necessarily have to, but the first handover, first dive, I'd like to not worry about swinging Argus or Atalanta into the wall while we're handing over. Well, I really love going slow and getting close-up looks at all the animals. I also like just going as fast as we can, making up time. Chris likes that too. Get the vessel moves,
Yeah,
pylons,
that's
and we're
what
watching the sonar as it weaving through all the
This stopping and smelling the
terrain.
roses is no fun at all for Nav.
No, it is. Well, we made it to waypoint 2. That's like
2
that's
out of
an
5 ain't bad,
accomplishment.
right, Dan?
What's that?
2 out of 5 ain't bad.
Waypoint to me is a random point on a map to the general uphill.
We are having a
Video watch change.
very eventful first dive here on Libu's voyage. We're getting so distracted by all the beautiful corals and sponges and fish that we're ending up moseying along at a bit slower of a pace than we expected. But
See you, Chris.
I think that's just a testament to how incredible the diversity we're seeing is in this bizarre terrain.
That's my that's our relief coming in, so it's Dan and Jaden signing off. I'll park it here on the beautiful sponge while I hand it over to Gabby and Ryan. Thanks, everyone.
All right, to all our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. We are currently on a watch change, so if you would like to give us a few minutes to get settled in, and then we'll get started. And if you have any questions, you can go on our website, nautiluslive.org, watch along with us, put in your questions. We love to hear what you're curious about, what you see, and what you want to know more about.
Okay. How do gauges look? And I can't hear you at all. Can you talk again? No. Okay, I'm good. I got you now. Okay. You said gauges are good? Okay. Oh yeah, we managed to get all the air out of the high pressure line. Sweet. That didn't go down much at all. Hey, back row.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. Are we ready for introductions? Or
Shall we move first?
Yeah.
I think we should
Yeah, I
get the move
am
going.
yeah, this looks like the slope is like 40 meters ahead of us. So yeah, you can put in a move or two.
Start with 20 meters.
Yeah, sure. What speed have we been going? Do you know?
0.2, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. Bridge nav. Bridge nav. We put in a move for 20 meters, bearings 034, please.
It's 2. Why is the, yeah. Huh. Because that was like what it was running. Well, well, I'll get the vehicle moving. We've been sitting still. That was what it was running when we were working shallow. And so it hasn't been running that hot the whole time? Okay. What's the bearing of our moves?
034 right now.
Okay. Do you pretty much have that heading, 034-ish? Okay, cool. Okay. And you can put in the next move right on top of this one.
Okay.
Gabby, we good to start our introductions?
Bridge nav.
Yeah, just one sec.
All right, got it.
Can we do the same move? 20 meters, bearings 034.
Yeah, ready to start. We're ready to start, I think. Introductions. You guys okay with that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So, hello everyone, to our viewers online.
I'm gonna
8 to
drop a
12
plate.
watch. Oh, sorry. 8 to 12 watched has signed on. We're gonna start with our introductions. With the back row. All right, I'll start it off. Hi, my name is Lottie Halleck. I am your SCF, Science Communications Fellow for the 8 to 12 watch, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited that you're here with us. If you have any questions, please put them in our website question box. And yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Jeff Drazen. I'm a professor at University of Hawaii. I'm a deep sea ecologist and I specialize in studying deep water food webs and also deep sea fish ecology. And I'm really excited to be doing these dives. These are some of the first observations at these depths that have ever been made in Palau's waters. It's really pretty special to be here today to be able to be doing this exploration. Thanks.
No,
Hello,
I just got
everyone.
clever there.
My name is Piera Biondi. I'm from Italy and I am currently on the Nautilus as a guest scientist. I work in Palau at the Palau International Coral Reef Center. So my watch is going to be from 8 to 12, and when I'm not on watch, I am on the ship collecting water for environmental DNA. So we are trying to use the ROV to collect some water at a different depth and then filter it and see what the eDNA down there is going to show us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Noelle Halder. I will be the data logger on our 8 to 12 watch, and I'm excited to be here with everyone on
He
the
left it
science
hot.
team.
I did. Actually, can you text him about that? I don't know. He just left it hot for me. So I don't know if he had if he was thinking about that, or was that just something that happened?
All right, we're ready to move to the front row for intros.
I can start.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, this is Derek Sowers. I work as the Mapping Operations Manager for OET, and I'll be the navigator on this watch. I'm based at the University of New Hampshire, Center for Coastal Ocean Mapping as my office. And yeah, I'm really excited for this cruise. Gabby?
Hey, I'm Gabby. I'm sitting in the Herc seat right now. And that's what I do. I sit in the Herc seat.
ROV team lead?
Oh yeah, that's what I am. I'm ROV lead for this cruise.
Hey, I'm Rai. I am in the Atalanta seat.
Oh, okay. Max?
And video is
Hello.
doing some training there.
Sorry about that.
My name is Max. I'm the video engineering intern.
All right, thank you guys. So we got a question from our viewers. Like,
Keep
Do you
what?
moving.
know? Sorry.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
know if the vehicles like want to sit here or whether this is layback from moves?
I think we're just, yeah, I think we just kind of will stop as the move ends. I don't think there's much layback in the cable.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is just like current or something like that. Assistance here.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I guess we can put in another move.
Same. Was that
Yeah.
good? 20.
Yeah. We can go 0.3.
Okay. Bridge nav. Can we do another 20-meter move? 034 at 0.3 knots. Thank you. Yeah, I was watching the video earlier, Gabby, and it seemed like there was a consistent current.
Okay,
So
cool. Go for Zoom video.
Video zooming, sorry. You like more zoom?
Okay, go wide.
Sorry, going wide. I'm gonna push past the vignette.
And you don't need to, yeah, you probably just push past the vignette, but you can always, like if the porch is in view, you can leave the porch in view. I probably did that on purpose, but you did the right thing because you pushed past the vignette, so.
Just let me know if you'd like me to pull back the zoom.
Did you say something, video? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Just let me know if you'd like me to pull back the zoom.
Okay, yeah, sounds good, I will. Let's try again. Go for Zoom video.
Going for zoom?
Hold there. A lot of time the zoom that we're looking for is like a half zoom or something like that.
Okay, noted.
Okay, go wide.
Going wide. Okay.
Hey Jeff, can you kind of start walking us through where we're at and what we're looking at? Set me some context.
Yeah, so we are currently diving on an unnamed seamount that is about, well, it's about 45 miles north of what's called Velasco Reef in Cayangle, the north end of the North Island of Palau. And we mapped this target last night, and the seamount summit rises to a depth of about 1,000 meters. We're about 1,450 meters right now. And so our goal here is to explore the seamount by heading up its southern side, and hopefully we will reach the top. Oftentimes the tops of these kinds of seamounts are covered in coral and sponge gardens because of the currents that sweep over them, bringing food to all of those filter feeders. So that's our goal for today. we started at about 1,600 meters depth. We've already encountered some really
Bridge nap.
amazing